So now, good evening, good people. This is Dwayne, otherwise known to you as Save and Gold. And this evening, the lecture will be scams, Ponzis, and tricks versus assets, profits, and wealth. And I thought of that particular thing because some statements that had been made about some of my previous videos. And a person had accused me of scamming facts. And this really rubbed me the wrong way. But you know what? I say the proof is in the pudding. Now, if I'm scamming or trying to scam people, I would like to bear facts that show that you're being scammed and you're in a Ponzi system and being tricked, and you don't even know it, but I'm not the culprit. And like I say the proof is in the pudding. Now, let me start out by saying that I am not a tax or financial advisor. I'm simply trying to show you the merits and the benefits of being a part of a very great company by the name of Carrot Bars, who's been around since 2011. Our founder and CEO is Harold Sykes, and he has made a mission statement to put gold in the hands of the average people and honest people worldwide at an affordable price. Carrot Bars is in over 140 countries worldwide, and so this is the solution, in my opinion, for the whole world. Also, he's made a statement that he wanted to make at least 20,000 millionaires in a very short space of time. I can't think of the exact time, extent that he had made that to, but he had made that statement. He wanted to make at least 20,000 millionaires, and I believe it, and I want to be a part of that number. So, okay, scams, Ponzi's, tricks versus assets, profits, and wealth. That being said, like I said, the proof is in the pudding. Now, when I start this particular theme and lecture, I'm going to use the movie that most of us are familiar with, referred to as The Wizard of Oz. And this was a children's movie, but it had a lot of very relevant symbolism in that movie that I think really escaped the average viewer. And so I would like to bring these symbolisms out into the open and make them understandable for my viewers. And please hit that like button if you would. This improves my rating with YouTube as well as the other social medias that I have my videos on. So now, yeah, the Wizard of Oz. Now, in this particular movie, you had a young lady by the name of Dorothy who lived in Kansas City. And Kansas City is the very same place where we send our tax returns, isn't it? And ironically. And during this era of time is really in the movie is I believe it's depicting a time at about maybe the early part of the 1930s up to maybe the mid part of it. But actually the movie was put into production in 1939. Okay, so now here's Dorothy in Kansas City, humdrum kind of life on this particular day until a storm brews. And she found that the weather began to change and a tornado, a devastatingly destructive tornado, developed and uprooted her home, in which she was knocked unconscious. And when she awakened from her state of unconsciousness, she found herself in a brand new world, so to speak, a brand new existence referred to as Oz. Now, Oz is actually a fantasy world, an illusory world, but in this world, she found that the individuals look strange and different. And I would like to expound on especially 4 of them. Now, I don't want to name all the characters in the movie. I'm just really trying to curtail the characters that I mentioned to really stress the point that I'm trying to put across to you. Now, she had the Scarecrow, she had the Tin Man, she had the Cowardly Lion, she had the Wicked Witch of the West, and she has the Wizard of Oz himself. Okay, so actually that's 5 characters. All right, so let's start with the Scarecrow. Well, who is the Scarecrow? He is a nonfiction person, and he represents the Scarecrow that you are made to stand in for after you are given your birth certificate, your social security card, and your driver's license. Whenever you are compelled or summoned to court and they ask you to state your name, they're not referring to you. They're referring to your corporation or your nonfiction person, your Scarecrow. And how do you know that this Scarecrow exists? And also this Scarecrow represents a bond on your head and a bank account that at your demise, someone is going to collect on that bond. And 9 times out of 10, it's not going to be your family or anybody that is one of your loved ones that you care about. Now, I would call that a scam. I would call that a Ponzi of the highest order. But again, how do you know you have this fictitious person made in your name? Well, whenever you look and you see on your driver's license, on your social security card, or your birth certificate, you see your name. The spelling is the same, but all the letters are capitalized. In the English language, anything that is a name with all caps is a fiction, plain and simple. Your name that represents your flesh and blood person has the first letter capitalized, the rest is small case. So that's part of the scam that you've been made to be a part of all your life. And you've been doing it so long, it's right in your face, but you don't even recognize it. And the minute a person approaches you with an opportunity that's going to help you to build wealth, you got your antennas up and your red light is flashing, and automatically you want to label that person as being unscrupulous. Let me tell you something, beloved. I'm not the person that's scamming you. I'm the one that's trying to put some money in your pocket. I'm trying to help you be wealthy and prosperous. And I'm trying to show you a better way. Okay. Also, you have in this story, you have the Tin Man. And who does the Tin Man represent? Your tax ID number. And so, what are taxes? These are levied fees, so to speak, that extract money from your labor. This is why I try to tell people, save in gold, because gold is not taxed. And gold is not subject to inflation. When you start acquiring gold and you store it, you're building generational wealth. And that's what we do at Carrot Bars. We help you build a storehouse of gold, and we increase your cash flow. How does that sound to you? I hope it sounds good. Sounds good to me. But anyway, that's who the TIN is, your tax ID number. That's who the TIN, the Tin Man, is. So when you engage in these US dollars, from the minute that you obtain one, it's called a treasury note. And note means debt. But the irony about the whole thing is the very people that are telling you you owe taxes on this money, they don't pay taxes. Isn't that kind of suspicious? Don't you find that just a little bit strange, to say the least? How can you levy a tax to my labor, but you're printing all these bills that aren't backed up by anything, and you don't owe a tax? And so let's take a little time here to talk a little bit about the banks. Now, the banks started out as storehouses for your gold. And back in the day, people, they exchanged commerce through gold coins. And so if you went to the marketplace and you had an abundance of gold coins, well, you became a target. So it was more convenient for you to have paper slips. It really took you off the radar as being someone that had a lot of money with you, real money, and you could get by and purchase your goods and your services without being singled out for robberies and things of that nature. That's how that got started. And when you went to the storehouse and deposited your gold coins, well, that proprietor, he gave you a gold slip that indicated how much gold he had in storage from you. Now, how is it that the banks anyway can loan you money when the money that they have is supposed to belong to other people? Doesn't that strike you as being a little strange? If you let me hold on to X amount of monies and I'm holding it for you for whatever reason, where do I get off telling somebody else they can have a portion of it at a certain percentage? Because it's not my money. If you run off with it, they ran off with your money, not my money, your money, right? So I'm just trying to kind of sort through the perspective of what's going on in our everyday existence that we take for granted. So now here you are, you're at the bank, and the bank gave you a loan for, say, a house or a car that they printed up on a check, but they didn't give you anything in reality. They just wrote some numbers out and put it on a piece of paper and said, here, now you go ahead and purchase your house. But the minute you get behind in your payments, they're going to come and take your car, right? That's how the game goes. But originally, when these paper slips were represented by gold, that wasn't so easy a Ponzi to perform, because if they didn't have enough gold in store for all the slips that they had deposited to the people, well, that meant that there was certainly some very unethical practices going on. And you would be found to be a thief, and you'd be strung up by your toenails if the authorities got a hold of it. And this has happened in the past. People that were the proprietors of these storehouses, when it was found out that they were acting and being unscrupulous and unethical and just printing out slips, enriching themselves, which is in actuality counterfeiting, which is the same thing as inflation. That's all inflation is. Inflation is simply people counterfeiting money. And they do it every day and get away with it. But you better not do it. You better pay your taxes, right? And the very people that are printing up all these paper slips, they don't pay taxes. I find that very, very strange. And it's really intolerable when you stop and think about it. This is, in my opinion, I think is why Wesley Snipes did what he did. And he went to jail for it. They made an example out of him for doing that. It wasn't so much of him trying to be unethical or be a criminal. He saw that there was a Ponzi being perpetrated, and he didn't want to be a partaker and a participant in the scheme. That's what that was. Okay, so all right, we covered the Tin Man, right? So now let's move along unto the Cowardly Lion. Who is the Cowardly Lion? Well, the Cowardly Lion is the American people. The American people have been cowed down and intimidated so badly that they go along with the Ponzi because they don't want to be made an example of, like Wesley Snipes was. We don't want to, in many instances, we don't even want to know the truth. Because if we know the truth, then you have to act accordingly. That puts a responsibility on your shoulder to act in accordance to the new information and knowledge that you have. Now, don't get me wrong. According to the Constitution, there's supposed to be certain instances where taxes are appropriate. You have terminology such as your excise tax, your direct tax, and your indirect taxes, and things of that nature. And again, I am not a financial advisor or specialist, but I have researched this, and I have found this to be true. And these types of taxation are, from what I've read, are justifiable. However, I've been made to understand that your pecuniary wages are not supposed to be taxed, which is your labor. Whatever it is that you do for a living, that's not supposed to be taxed. Now, how many of us even have thought about such a concept? You're probably thinking, oh man, that's really got to be crazy. But is it really? How is it that you're working, your sweat, your physical labor is being taxed? That's you putting forth effort, but you're being taxed for it. To me, that just doesn't line up just all by itself. So, moving right along. So now let's talk a little bit about the banks a little bit further. Now, during this particular storm that took place in the movie, the tornado, what that represented was the depression or the stock market crash that took place in 1929. And I'm told there was at least 7 main reasons that brought it about. One of them being the Roaring '20s, in which there was so much excessive spending that took place. People just had a whole lot of confidence in the markets at that time. And once the stock market crashed, that really helped bring about what was referred to as the Great Depression. And that's what that storm represented to me in that movie. So now, once that cleared up, I'm told that that era was from 1929 to 1933. In 1933, America became bankrupt. How many of you knew that? It's been documented. Don't believe me, you can look at it for yourself. And under President Roosevelt, he put out executive orders indicating officially that the country was bankrupt. And I'll read some of them to you. You have Executive Order 6073, 6102, 6111, and 6260 on March 9, 1933. So we lost our sovereignty once we became bankrupt. So now we're operating under what they call color of law. You think that everything is the same as it was, but you're in a corporation. The whole country has become a fiction. This American system is a fiction. It's an illusory thing that we've been made to be partakers of. We've been made to be part of a Ponzi. This is a country that really, it's not sovereign. Even though, you say, well, we're the richest country in the world with fake money. And a lot of countries don't want to acquire this fake money. So now, after or even in the year 1933, a legislation was put forth, and it had to do with the trading with the enemy, I believe. But what did happen, without any shadow of a doubt, the people's money or their gold was extracted from them by the government. You were given an order that if you had any gold reserves, to turn it in. And a refusal to turn in your gold possession, your gold certificates, at the cost of going to jail. What right does any government have to take what's yours in the form of lawful money? See, again, that intimidation, that fear factor, which leads to our fourth character, the Wicked Witch of the West. The Wicked Witch of the West is that energy, that force that puts fear in us, intimidates us with her evil monkeys that represents the militia that goes about enforcing the Ponzi. If you don't pay these taxes, we're going to put you in jail. We're going to take your house. We're going to take your car. How about a little fire, Scarecrow? Ha 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 ha! Right? That's the Wicked Witch of the West, making us be a part of this Ponzi. But we're busy trying to look at each other to see, and there are Ponzis out there. Don't other Ponzis, left and right. I mean, but these other smaller Ponzis don't even compare to the main one that's being perpetrated. I mean, this is a country now that is just about everything you see is based on scamming you out of whatever wealth or assets that you might have. And we have more or less as citizens almost been trained to think that way. So, all right, you got your Wicked Witch of the West. So now, if you remember in the movie, you got your yellow brick road. Remember, follow the yellow brick road. What does that represent? Follow, and where did the yellow brick road lead to? It led to Emerald City. And in Emerald City, you had the very wizard himself. What did he represent? He represented the Federal Reserves. And by the way, when we say Federal Reserves, many of us think that has to do with the government. There's nothing federal about the Federal Reserves, just like there's nothing federal about Federal Express. It's just a name. But many of us think that when You are dealing with the Federal Reserve. You're dealing with the government. You're dealing with some private bankers. And their only goal and intent is to make profits. That's all. They don't care about you. They don't care about me, anybody else that might get in the way of them perpetrating their Ponzi on us, the American people. Now, I'm just telling you straight out. Again, I would like to say, please smash that like button. And I hope that you can find some value in the information that I'm giving you. And again, I say, who's zooming who? Who's scamming who? I'm the one trying to tell you, acquire gold. They took gold from you. I'm telling you, get gold. Exchange some of this bad money, this fake money, for God's money, which is gold. Not that you should be so monetary minded that you just, are willing to sell your soul. That's not what I'm trying to say or indicate. I'm just trying to tell you what real wealth is. Maybe improve your financial IQ a tad. So, and why don't they teach you this in school? They tell you to go to school, get an education, but they don't tell you these things. Why is that? That you go through what's called the public school system? Or is it just a public food system? Think about that. Because the main things that you need to know in order to be viable in this monetary setting and system, they withhold that from you. And then once you get all these degrees, you got degrees coming out of everywhere. But you got to work at what, McDonald's? Because, unless somebody gives you a job, all that is for nothing. Right? You don't even probably even know how to change a car tire. But you got PhDs. You don't know how to do any kind of real construction, or you can't you don't know how to fix a broken wall that's in your house, or something that is real practical that's going to bring you money on an everyday basis. Paint a house, or just basic things that'll draw in revenue for you. They don't even show you these just simple things that you can do to make money. But they'll show you how to fill out an application. You'll learn how to count your money when you get paid. But they won't tell you what money really is. They don't tell you what the history of money is. You think money is this piece of paper with a president's face on it. It's not money. That's not money at all. You may as well, in fact, have some monopoly money in your hand for what it's worth. But as long as you believe it's money, then the Ponzi can work. That's why real education is actually dangerous. And that's why they try to throw so many amusements in front of you. So you don't think. You don't have to think. What does amusement mean? Muse. A meaning without. Muse meaning thought. Amusement means to put you in a state of not thinking. That's why you have all these things going on all around you to distract you. So you don't really see the real game that's being played. And before you know it, it might be too late for you anyway. That's why you have so many people out here that are homeless, impoverished. I said, from the time I was a child up until now, and by the way, as a child, I remember when you had U.S. dollars, $10 bill, $20 bill, saying that it was redeemable at a bank for that weight in gold. You don't have that anymore, right? All of that is gone. And you have people out here that are just begging people for money because they think this piece of paper is real wealth. But if you have a bank account and you might have however amount of thousands of dollars in it, whatever it'll buy you today, it's not going to be able to buy that tomorrow. Doesn't it make sense to start storing up something that has real value, something that's elevating in value? I mean, even though we have to be made to be a part of the Ponzi on some level. You got to have U.S. dollars on some level, but just have enough to do what you need to do. But always pay yourself first. That's what we mean when we say pay yourself first. Acquire gold. Exchange this fake money for real money, and you can do that. And that's key. While gold is going up and your money is going down, well, this gold is a hedge. That's a hedge against that action. Does that make sense? And with Carrot Bars, they offer 8 streams of income. I can't even really touch on all of them because it would probably be a lecture for the whole day. But this is a bona fide company. It's an opportunity for you. And by the way, I will leave a link underneath this video whereby you can register for free, and I hope you do. After you register for free, you will need to get what's known as your KYCs approved, which means know your customer. And if anybody has any problems with getting that done, please contact me, and I will help you, and I will be your sponsor to get you started into the Carrot Bars business. But again, you can open up an account for free, and it's up to you what you want to do. You don't have to do anything if you don't want to. But there's money to be made, and there's wealth to be acquired through Carrot Bars. And like that example that I just showed you, you could already be over $139 richer had you just done that one step. Not to mention the other 7 streams of income that are available to you through Carrot Bars. Okay, now, one of the things that this individual that had questioned me about, that said I was scamming facts, is he said, well, why don't we use some of the other gold vendors? And I have found those gold vendors' prices. You have Sharps Pixley. They offer the gram of gold. And from what I could see on their website, they offered a gram of gold for $52.40 in pounds sterling. And that equates to $67.88 in US dollars, okay? So you also had Atkinson's, which offers the gram of gold for $52.92 in pounds sterling, which equates to $67.91 in US dollars. They also have another presentation of their gram of gold for $59.45 in pounds sterling, which equates to $77.22 USD. You have Apex that offers the gram of gold for $64 in USD. You have Degussa, which offers the gram of gold for $59.70 in pounds sterling, which equates to $77.34 USD. And at the time, Carat Bars was offering the gram of gold for $72.78 in euros, which equated to $78.94 USD. Now, let me say this about that. Through Carat Bars, when you register for free, if you were to register under me and start acquiring gold, you can get a discount, which is 3%, which brings that down to $76.57 USD. But the main thing that you want to bear in mind, all these other vendors and dealers in gold, they're not going to pay you if you bring somebody else to be one of their customers. They're just not going to do it. Whereas Carat Bars is going to pay you a handsome salary. They're going to give you a handsome, I would call it a fee. Oh, how do you put that? Yeah, they're going to pay you a handsome fee for bringing in other people into Carat Bars. That's called your referral fee. That's what they'll pay you. And also, when people save in gold like you do, and they're under your sponsorship, Carat Bars pays you a percentage according to whatever they purchase. Not that they're giving you part of their money, but you make a percentage depending on how much gold they save. And as I stated in some of my earlier videos, they have what's called the 12-week fast track plan, in which you can acquire free gold, and you have their loyalty bonus program, in which you can acquire from 1 to 25 grams a month. You can best believe none of these companies are going to give you free gold. I don't care how much you buy. I don't care how long you've been buying from them. And I don't care how many people you refer to them. So in my mind, it's a no-brainer. Why would you deal with anybody else? And I had showed also, this is part of Carat Bars' flagship products. Isn't that a beautiful phone? Guess what? That's a voice over blockchain phone. Unique to Carat Bars only. Unhackable. You cannot hack this phone. That's a beautiful thing, people. Also, it has what's referred to as a hardware wallet. There it is, right there. And for people that are familiar with Bitcoin, Ethereum, these are cryptocurrency as well as the KBC, you can store, and that's the back of the phone. And it has unlimited storage, no roving fees, and you can have a bank in your pocket just through this hardware wallet. They have their computer, their laptop, referred to as the WIM, which comes out. They're going to start shipping those out at the end of this month. And right now it is the 24th, so that's rolling up on us real quick. I can't wait till I get mine. This is all that Carat Bars offers. These guys don't even know nothing about that. At what? Apex. What's the name of this company? Sharps, Pixely, Apex, Atkinsons, Degussa. Can't do none of that with them. But why would you deal with anybody else? Right? And their real flagship product, which is their gram of gold. And I can't stress this one enough. We get wealthy 1 gram at a time. That's their classic gram of gold card. This card has unique security features. It has serial numbers on the gold itself, right there, that identifies this gold ingot or bullion as belonging to you. It has security features that aren't visible to the naked eye and can only be seen when a black light is shined on it. This is the back. Beautiful card. And they, like I said, they offer 8 streams of income. Just saving in gold is the basis of what we do. We get paid to save in gold, but when you work some of their other streams of income, they pay you residually. They have a dual commission program, a dual team program. They have a unilevel program, and they pay out, depending on the dual team pays out on a weekly basis. The unilevel on a monthly basis. This is their MasterCard. I have it upside down. That's their MasterCard. That's my MasterCard. State-of-the-art card. And you know, MasterCard doesn't just deal with any old rinky-dink company now. They got to be above board. And they've got to be worth their weight, so to speak, in salt. That's me right there. Right? So, yeah, this is a quality company. Each one of those gold bars are LBMA approved or London Bullion Market refinery approved. So this is the highest quality of gold on the planet. 999.9, 24 karat gold, like what the central banks use. So that being said, this has been the basis of my whole theme and lecture. And again, I hope that you have enjoyed it. It has been my pleasure to extend to you this opportunity. And that being all, I hope that all of you will have a very, very blessed day or blessed evening, and that you will return again to view my next video, and I will definitely make that known to you at that time. So, good night, good people, from Save and Go. Bye.